Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you're watching right around the world. Well, welcome along to a brand new season of Shakedown Sim Racing here tonight. It's round one of the GamerGearDirect LifeLine Sprint Series. Round one of 6 here, ladies and gentlemen, here at Silverstone, the home of motorsport. And boy, we've got a big night of action here for you. We've had 30 minutes of practice coming up to the end of the first practice session, and then we're going to kick straight into Q1, qualifying one. And it is a sprint round here tonight. We've got 10 minutes of qualifying, then a 15-minute race, short and sweet. And then we're going to have a 5-minute break, and then another 10-minute qualifying session, followed by a 30-minute race. And no compulsory pit stop, and no pit window, and a full formation lap here, ladies and gentlemen, as we take a look inside these beautiful cars here. Rob Maddox around the Stowe corner is hello to Nipley, who says, let's go, first time chatter, you know what you need to do, as I welcome the man who's director, producer, and all the way from South Australia, my partner in crime, my trusty sidekick, Cameron Norris. How good is it to be part of Shakedown? You are Mr. Shakedown, but it's great to be here, and thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on board with us for this season, Trev. And the GamerGearDirect Lifeline Sprint Series, it's going to be a good one. And, you know, these practice sessions, you know, everyone's been a bit worried that it's going to be wet the whole time, but you know, the sun's come out to play.
As we take a look here, 1 minute remaining in practice. And who can we keep our eye on here tonight? We've got Matthew Spinazzi there, and in the Porsche, beautiful looking car. Then Tom Maloney in second position. And I've got to say, what a turnout here, Cam. Fantastic turnout here tonight. And for round one of this season, you're going to have to show me around here, Cam, because it's a little bit new to me on PC, but fantastic track here tonight. We've had some wet conditions in practice. What can we expect to see for qualifying in the race tonight, Cam?
So I've got my money. I think we're going to probably have a wet and a dry qualifying, you know, maybe a dry or a wet quali one and stuff like that, but we'll have to see how it goes. We're running full variable weather this season. Our drivers obviously vote on the tracks they'd like to visit, as well as how many weather rounds they'd like to have. So full variable weather. I'm looking forward to seeing what it's going to shake up this series.
So 7 p.m. A local time, of course, as we wait a couple of minutes before we kick off into qualifying one. And boy, what a fantastic night it's going to be as we take a look at Matthew Spinazzi there. Just going off the track, the end of free practice one. As we can see there, 2:06.532, the quickest time in this session now, as we are just riding on board there, you can see. And there are the times on your screen. And wow, some quick times here. So you can see a good mixture too, Cam. We've got Ferraris, the Lamborghini, the Honda, the McLaren. So good range of cars here as well tonight.
Yeah, we've got a nice, good variety this series, and you know, we're looking forward to seeing how everybody tackles this series. You know, it's going to be a tough one, but I think it's going to be a good one.
Riding on board now with Lee Perkins for Merlin Motorsport. And he is down in 18th position, 3.8 seconds off of the practice time. Only practice, but still very important to get those laps in, Cam. We know that we've had changeable conditions, and that is not the ideal line to take through there. But difficult conditions for these drivers here tonight in this practice session, Cam. A wet track. We saw it in the 4 hours of Watkins Glen, of course, a couple of nights ago. Difficult to negotiate a wet track and then trying to find that dry line as well as as the rain starts to ease off.
Yeah, 100%. It's very tricky conditions, and you know, as we're not too far away from being booted over to qualifying, I'm looking forward to seeing how the tracks develop, as it does look like we've got a bit of weather.
And we certainly, I think that's putting it mildly, Cam, as we come across into qualifying. Ladies and gentlemen, great to have your company. Like we said, round 1 of 6 here, and it all kicks off here at Silverstone. I think we've got an endurance round next week and at Imola, but we'll keep everyone watching updated on that as we see the drivers coming out on to the circuit. And Cam, I'm looking ahead there. It's only a 10-minute qualifying session, and I'm looking in the top right-hand corner to see the weather conditions coming up, and it's not drying out. If anything, there's rain plus a little plus symbol, which could mean more rain coming.
Yeah, rain increasing. It's going to be treacherous out here, so I'm kind of interested to see what we're going to end up seeing in these conditions for qualifying. We were seeing around the 2-minute 11, 2-minute 12 mark during early practice before the server reboot. So yeah, I think it's going to be anyone's game for this first race.
As we see the drivers coming out here, we are looking at Michael Babb there for DH Racing. Like I said, fantastic turnout here tonight. So the drivers just getting a bit of a handle on conditions before they start their first qualifying runs here. And a massive field, Cam. How many have we got? 30, I think we are capped at 30 here, aren't we, in Shakedown?
Yeah, we're capped at 32 drivers for the race, but we do have around 38 drivers registered. So, you know, the numbers tonight, we're going to be close to 30. But with this rain, I think we might see a few people pull out, but hopefully not.
Hopefully we don't see that. GT3 class, of course, here, ladies and gentlemen, as we are looking at Dan Siciliano there, the 720S. Very beautiful car here, taking a little bit too much curb there. And that's not what you need to be doing around here, but fantastic sponsors, fantastic support as well, Cam, this series, haven't we? GamerGearDirect, we've got LifeLine, Sim Rigs, we've got everybody on board, don't we, for this new season?
Yeah, so GamerGearDirect have come on board quite recently as a new partner to Shakedown, and we're very privileged to have them on board with us, and obviously they're headlining our series. You know, we're supporting LifeLine as well, mental health and suicide prevention charity here in Australia. They do great work on the live telephone front. You know, they're the front and center support line. So GamerGearDirect helping us support them, and you know, they're helping support our drivers too. So it's great to see everybody coming out to support a good cause.
And you can see there all of the drivers, almost all the drivers out on the circuit, Cam, and I guess it's important, despite these conditions, it doesn't look like we're going to see much improvement here, but a chance for a lot of these drivers to find different racing lines. We see it a lot in these wet conditions. This is really where the highly skilled drivers come to the fore, isn't it, in these damp conditions?
Yeah, these conditions, you know, it's that mixture between, you know, are you going to be getting a good lap in or are you not going to get a good lap in, you know? The increase of rain as well is going to shake things up. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. Curbs are very slippery. The grass isn't where you want to be. So, yeah, I'm looking forward.
As we see on your screen, the 555 Mercedes there. Nick Macbeth, the AMG GT3 2020. Love a good shakedown livery, and some of the liveries, I'm not sure whether I had to load into the custom liveries tonight, Cam. I know we were getting ready for round 1 here tonight, but is that something that I needed to do or not? But I'm still seeing some pretty nice liveries nonetheless here.
Yeah, so we've got a couple of drivers. I was, you know, in the heat of trying to run through everything earlier, you know, we forgot to install the custom liveries for you, but we'll make sure that's all sorted. Always, we see somebody run off wide there, but yeah, a couple of people have decided to run a custom livery, you know, whether it's supporting a team they run or, you know, whether it's throwing out a good support for the charity, and a lot of other people have created some really great in-game liveries too.
Fantastic stuff here, ladies and gentlemen. Well, that's almost half of qualifying done and dusted here tonight. I'm just looking at these times here. And you can see P1 there at 2:04.452 for Tom Maloney in the McLaren, and that is a very quick time. We've got riding on board with Matthew Spinazzi there, and you can see these times are going to tumble. And what, I mean, 2:04s, 2:05s, what are we going to see here as the pole position time, Cam, in these wet conditions?
Yeah, so I was kind of ballparking the 2:10s, 2:11s, but I think that might have been when we had medium rain. So these guys are pedaling quite quick, and you know the McLaren is quite a nice and quick car around here. So Matthew's also coming off of a Motorsport Australia GT3 Cup run that he did here not even a week ago, and he was quite competitive in the Porsche. So you know that was providing dry conditions. So yeah, I'm looking forward to kind of seeing what's going to happen up the front. You know, we've got a couple of good names up there so far, and you know, we've got a couple of names that would normally be up the front, but you know, these wet conditions seem to be testing them.
As you can see there, the times on your screen, quickest first sectors for Maloney there, first and second sectors, I beg your pardon, and then Sanukas there with the quickest final sector. As you can see the overall times on your screen, riding on board. And Chris, as you can see there, he's here for the memes. Cam, he sounds like a bit of a character. And there we have it, he's in the Aston Martin. Beautiful car here, and the conditions look to be improving slightly, but not an awful lot, right down to, well, we've got half a dozen or so drivers here as he's here for the memes. How good is that? And this is fantastic stuff, and like a kid in a candy store here tonight for everybody who's watching, because yeah, this is all new to me. Geez, we talk about the PC Master Race, Cam, and I'm seeing it firsthand here tonight with these options here on ACC.
Yeah, it's very different for you, you know, coming from, you know, you're a great commentator on the console, and you know, it's very different ballpark for you to kind of jump out of what you know and what's comfortable to come onto the PC and, you know, run through all these new different mechanics and buttons that you can use, and it's crazy. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how you develop with it, and yeah, it's going to be good.
As we see, still a few drivers yet to set times. McDonald, Easter, Bradley, and down there at the bottom, of course, capping the entry list at 30 cars. I think we've got 36 or something drivers registered, Cam, so it's always a fantastic turnout here for Shakedown, and great to be a part of a new season here, ladies and gentlemen. Like we said, 6 rounds. It's a short and sharp season, Cam, but we always see plenty of action, don't we, throughout the season, and I think we're going to see more of it here in this new season here. That's a beautiful livery, by the way. And as we see the drivers, are they getting ready for their final runs here, Cam, trying to find some space out on the track?
Yeah, you can see, you know, I'll pop the track map up here for a bit just so you can kind of see the density of everything. And, you know, there's a big group of people kind of jumbled up. So I think everyone's frantically trying to get to their final qualifying lap.
As we've got a yellow flag there, car 69, and what I mean, Muriel turned around there, and 2:04.4, and that is a fantastic lap. That's almost half a second clear, as I think that's Viney there off onto the grass. I'm sure he's going to try and find his way back onto the circuit, Cam, but it's a very hectic racetrack at the moment, and he'll be doing well to get back on without impeding anybody else. As we take a look now, it is currently Tom Maloney. This man is in a class of his own up at the front. As we take a look at Scani in the BMW there, just 43 seconds remaining here, ladies and gentlemen. Then we kick off with the first race, just a 10-minute race, Cam. So, as I mean, it's is it a matter of just playing the conservative game and trying to hold your position, or do you just go full out and go for it?
I think the best approach, being a 15-minute race to start off with, I think, you know, you want to set yourself up and have a good one, because I could be wrong. I'm bad with this, even though I run Shakedown. My notes for myself are bad. I think we're only awarding points to the top 16 people, or the top, technically half of the grid that we would normally have. So ideally you want to be in that top 16 somewhere, I think.
As we take a look, that is the end of qualifying. Of course, plenty of drivers still on their final run. And you can see there, Macbeth in the 555 Mercedes there coming around down the straight here. And it's looking, I say it's looking like it's going to be Maloney on pole position. But to have a look at that, second and third appear to have the same times. Spinazzi and Maddox there, both on equal times there. 2:04.900. It's amazing, isn't it, Cam? All of those decisions throughout the lap, the corners, the gear changes, and we see it so often, drivers getting identical times. It's just incredible.
Yeah, it is very incredible seeing all these drivers getting, exact times. You don't see it very often, but when you do see it, it's definitely a spectacle.
As we count down now, riding on board with Spinazzi here. This is, he's the man we're looking at to potentially take pole position off of Tom Maloney in the McLaren, but easier said than done. As we can see, just you don't want to turn in too early there, finding that apex. And we can see now an opportunity as most of the drivers, I believe, are back in the pits. We've only got half a dozen or so guys still on a hot lap. As I think, oh, what happened there, Cam?
Yeah, that was a big one. I crossed off of it just...
There was something going on there, but Abdul Azizi in the pussy wagon. Not sure whether we can go with that. Don't want to get kicked off on night one, but there we have it. That is the end of qualifying, ladies and gentlemen. And it's that man. Watch out for the curbs on the exit. Race control, they're doing very nicely indeed. Tom Maloney on pole, Spinazzi second, Rob Maddox in third, and the rest of them. But, well, we have so many options here. This is incredible. Can we do a grid walk, can we? Yeah, there we go. Trevor Byers, shakedown. Can we have a quick word? And it's not quite as busy as an F1 grid, Cam. And maybe the celebrities have gone elsewhere. It's too wet for them as the shakedown car there just comes back into play. There's Mr. Memes. He's here for the memes. And we're doing the grid walk. Can we look around, Cam? There we go. The doggo meme.
Where do we want to look? Where do we want to go?
Just keep going straight. We can check out these beautiful liveries there. Shakedown, look at that, right inside the action. And this is just like reminding me of my grid walk at Sandown last year for the V8s. But here we go, we're getting through the grid. And I don't have names to help me out, but we've got 30 drivers here tonight. And this is a very fun way of killing the time, isn't it, Cam? We can we can do a grid walk. There we go, in the Lambo on your right. And then it's Ferrari, and another Ferrari for good measure, as we're almost at the back of the grid. And yeah, we're just trying to find someone to talk to.
You know what we could do, though?
Oh.
We could stand up here, smash a bottle, and ruin a trophy.
And ruin a $40,000 trophy that took so many thousand hours to make. But we're almost ready to go. That is the grid order, ladies and gentlemen, and this is going to be a 10-minute, or is it 15 minutes? 15, I beg your pardon, a 15-minute race, and 7:02 p.m. local time. That is your starting grid. We are ready to go racing. This is a new journey, a new season, a new journey for me. There's that many toys to play with here. I don't know where to look, Cam, but we are ready for Shakedown. Round one of the GamerGearDirect LifeLine Sprint Series. An absolute pleasure to be here, Cam, who recruited me from KRL, and the rest is history. 30 seconds. What is going through the driver's mind here, Cam? 30 seconds before the race, tricky conditions. What are you thinking about in the cockpit of that car?
Oh, look, I'd be panicking if this was the 30-minute race, which we've got coming up a little bit later on in the show. I'd be panicking a little bit because it's wet and it's easing off in 10 minutes. So, we might get a bit of dry running towards the end of this and, boiling hot tyres.
No pit window, no compulsory pit stops, and a full formation lap coming up, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, we use the old start-finish straight, don't we, Cam, of course, here at Silverstone. As we see the drivers, they've got to be so careful, don't they, Cam, in these conditions, which look a little bit wetter than they did in qualifying, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it does look like it's ramped up a little bit from the Friday night and the Saturday qualifying sessions. It's going to be an interesting one. It does look very treacherous, and these curves look very slippery.
Very slippery indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Great to have your company. Like I always say, wherever you're watching right around the world, we are almost ready to go. I just need to update my... no, that's okay. We're on the formation lap, beg your pardon, and we are almost ready to go. They're getting a bit racy on this formation lap, Cam, as we see a couple of the drivers there, the Ferrari and the Porsche getting a little bit busy there, but of course they've just got to make their way around, don't they? And they've got to stay on their side of the track, down Hanger Straight, heading towards Stowe. And look at the standing water there, Cam. That is going to be interesting to say the least on lap one.
Yeah, it's getting me a little bit nervous, but the guys can't complain after this about not seeing any rain when we do variable weather rounds. So. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It does look treacherous, so much standing water, and oh mate, it's gonna be nerve-wracking, I think, over the first few laps.
And that's nerve-wracking as well as Macbeth there behind Boxall, Nicholas Macbeth and Paul Boxall, and it's like I keep saying, Cam, it's a whole new experience seeing players' actual names rather than just the PSN IDs, of course, which we love to make. I wouldn't say we make fun of them, but we do kind of find our own unique way of dealing with those PSN IDs. But we've just got the real names, so we can get to know everybody a little bit better, can't we, for this championship?
Yeah, I think it's a good addition to be able to familiarise yourself with the driver's name and stuff like that. But the console communities are great in their own respects, and I grew off the console, and the gamer tag was the way people knew me. So it's about how you handle yourself, and sometimes the gamer tag ends up sticking better than what your name does.
Certainly does. As we see them coming around now, we've got 30 of the best drivers you'll get in the land, and don't forget about my man down there, Josh Wilson, in last place. Keep an eye out for him. But we are looking at our pole position man here, Tom Maloney. Tell us a bit about this man, Cam. What do we know about him? He's a pretty handy peddler, especially in these tricky conditions.
Yeah, so Tom's a new driver for us. He's just signed up for this series, but he was in the commentary booth with John Sadikas during our last series. So he's swapping the mic for a set of boots on the car this time, and he might need to change the set of boots to a set of paddles to get around this one, I think.
We might need a boat instead, as you can see here. We can come around, and we're almost ready to go here. And boy, I am a little bit nervous, slightly frightened of what we might see here. Especially heading into Cops. We've seen plenty of action there over the years. There he is, our pole position man, Tom Maloney in the McLaren for Kovac's Gingerbread Man. And not the sort of conditions for Gingerbread to exist in these very slippery, wet conditions. You can see the rooster tails and the water coming up from the back. As green light, ladies and gentlemen, it's go. Round one of a brand new season. GamerGearDirect LifeLine Sprint Series is go through Cops Corner. We come, and our pole position man maintains the lead of this race as it appears everybody's got away cleanly. Look at that. 4 wide Cam Norris through Maggots, Beggots and Chapel as we see Bab there in the Ferrari, the 666 Ferrari, Prince of Darkness number that, as he comes through side by side. They're so close. They almost touch, but they get through cleanly there as the Mercedes sneaking down the inside and doof, 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 get to the chopper, Cameron Norris, because we're calling everybody our full names here tonight, but everyone has got away cleanly here on lap 1.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of people have gotten away cleanly, and you know, these treacherous conditions, they just don't look like they're letting up. But the front guys, Tom Maloney, Matthew Spinazza, those guys are going at it. And, you know, these wet conditions definitely aren't shying them away from a good battle.
And the race is on here, ladies and gentlemen. And you can see here on lap 1, we've already, look at the spray there, the visibility cam. There's our P1 man, Tom Maloney, in the 57 McLaren. And if anybody apart from Tom Maloney at the moment, they're not going to be seeing an awful lot, are they, in this spray?
Nah, definitely not. It's one of those ones where it's the conditions, I think, are just a little bit too treacherous to be seeing that much. We can take an interior view here of Jason.
Get us into the interior of this car, Jason Leonard Scott. And not only is that a full name, Cam, but it's a hyphenated name. Aristocratic driver background, a gentleman driver. Oh my goodness me. Heart in the mouth stuff there, Cam, as well, I cannot see a thing. And if I can't see anything, Cam, and I'm inside this man's car, then he can see an awful lot less than me, if you know what the bloody hell I'm talking about. Does that look like another moment there for somebody? It looked like a McLaren there, but Jason Leonard Scott, the aristocrat gentleman driver, having all sorts of trouble here, Cam.
Yeah, the conditions are just so treacherous. As we see a couple of drivers, they just nick the curb a little bit, and there's just no room. As we see Mr. Perkins venturing off the track because there's no grip.
And you can see there Larry Perkins venturing off the track, and that is not great for him early in this race. He's down in P16 at the moment. Might even be Lee Perkins in that car, Cam. I bet you he wishes he was Larry Perkins in these conditions. But 12 minutes gone. Where is the time going? And coming off the back of a 4-hour race, Cam, a couple of nights ago, and in the Oz NZ Endurance Series. We'll have to check with the boss, Cameron Norris, to see whether we can mention rival series or not. But there we have it. 7:10 p.m. local time. I'm not sure what the sunset time is here, Cam, but I don't think it's going to worry us here tonight as we're on board with this man who's controlling the pace out front. 1.2 seconds is that gap.
Yeah, he is definitely controlling the pace. He's got a best lap of a 17.677 at the moment, and Matthew behind is only an 18.4, so the gap does seem to be growing a little bit. This McLaren does seem quite strong, but then again, there might be a couple of mistakes with these conditions.
As we see now, P1 sitting pretty out in front, but nothing is guaranteed in these conditions here, ladies and gentlemen. And 1 lap down, and however many we can get in the next 11 minutes, as there's a yellow flag there. I think that might be somebody having some issues. Car 450, it might be Herod there. And in the Mercedes, having a slide moment there, Cam. It doesn't take much before you're facing the wrong way. And now we've got a Mercedes. As we get a look at the action replay, my goodness me, so many resources here, Cam. It's unbelievable. I wondered what the hell was going on there before I realised it was an action replay, just getting out of shape in the tricky conditions.
Yeah, I misclicked the button, so we just missed out on the key indicator of what happened. But yeah, it looks like a little bit of damage on the right-hand side of the car, and unfortunately, just couldn't get it back looped the right way. The tricky conditions, slippery track, it's just not ideal.
As we can see now, Muriel, I'm hoping I pronounced that right, the number 69 a Lambo with a very Alpha Tauri type colour scheme there inside the car. Aaron Muriel, let me know if I'm butchering some of these names. It's an AlphaTauri Black. As somebody's off and slightly levitating on their front wheels, Cam, and there's a gentleman waving a black flag in the crowd there, but it should be a white flag because that Mercedes, I'm not sure whether they're going to get out of there.
Yeah, I think sadly Pete disconnected from the server, but hopefully he can reconnect and get back in on the action.
So we'll wait and see whether Pistol Pete can reconnect, as I think I might have been onto something there. That is an AlphaTauri black car. That's the team name, Cam. So I was onto something there with that colour scheme. Here's a chance down the inside. And boy, there's so much going on. Field of 30 cars here tonight. We've lost Pistol Pete as a couple of them making contact further back. And you can see conditions, the rain is easing off. And is that our pole position? Man, no, is it? What happened there?
Yeah, Chris,
I think that might have been our race leader.
No, so we're on board here with Chris, currently P9. He accidentally had a moment on the curb, a little bit too slippery to brake on, and unfortunately he had a moment.
And beg your pardon, that is not a McLaren, is it? As you can see, the BRDC clubhouse there in the background, and I'm sure they're all warm and cozy undercover. Matthew Spinazzi, let me know if I'm saying that right, Cam, in the number 111. And look at that gap now, less than 1 second, as Matt has the fastest lap of the race so far. Purple sectors here, through Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel we go once again. And here's another little battle between a couple, Perkins and Conboy, going at it there. That is that we've seen in the past in other racing series, Cam. That's not quite a passing opportunity there.
Yeah, no, not quite a passing opportunity, but you can definitely set yourself up. So hopefully he sets himself up for the run down the straight after Maggots and Beckett's, and we might see a move. And
as the old saying goes, you certainly can't lose a race on lap 1, but that is not the line you want to be taking there down Hanger Straight. As halfway through the race, Cam, half of the race gone, half still to go here, ladies and gentlemen. And I think I might have ballsed up that saying there, Cam. And you certainly can lose the race on lap 1 is what I meant to say, as we've got 7 and a bit minutes to go, halfway gone in race 1 here. And we've got a second race. We've got a 2-for-1 deal tonight, Cameron Norris, because down the inside, here's a move. Potentially there is that Matthews in the 64 Ferrari, looking to make a move on Bradley there, but he's not quite going to get it done there on this occasion, Cam, but he's lining up for another go here.
Yeah, definitely lining up to give it another good crack. And Chris is a notable mention. He's come out of the woodworks, and he's not driving the McLaren like he's been doing the last couple of seasons. So trying the Porsche is a bit different for him, but he does look like he's able to hold his own, as that's a good defensive move there to keep the inside line.
As Matthews now, Cell Motorsport, the number 22 Porsche entry, making that Porsche as wide as humanly and legally possible. As we jump back on board with Aaron in the 69 AlphaTauri, dinner for 2 there in the Lamborghini, very nice indeed. And well, still we've got a little bit of a field spread there. They're so close, aren't they, right throughout the field. And we can see there that it's all business at the front. Hello, Cam. We've got a sexy little spicy battle happening here. Half a second that gap at the front.
Yeah, not much between them at all. So it definitely looks like Matthew's getting into the spicier sides of things as the track. Yeah, I don't think it's going to dry up in the next 5 minutes, but I think it might give them just a little bit more confidence, to run some of the curves.
As we are waiting to see, and sorry, just seeing the comments, and you only like Josh Wilson because it's the closest name to my name. Sure, there we go. Thank you for that. As the comments have come back, sorry I lost them there. And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Looking forward to this race. That is fantastic. Oh, as somebody off there, I think it might have been an AlphaTauri. As we look at the replay, just a slight bit of oversteer, Cam, and yeah, before you know it, you're on the grass.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate, that one. Where probably had a little bit too much draft coming into the corner, but Aaron did the right thing after making contact with the Ferrari and made sure that he could jump back in time, and they're back on their merry way.
as we see Victor in the 17 Ferrari there, down in 15th place. Some battles all the way through the field here. We're seeing some spicy battles indeed. Just a tick under 4.5 minutes left in this race here tonight, and I don't want to put you on the spot, Cam, but it's going to be hard to pick a winner here at the moment because there's battles for every single piece of track in every single position all the way through the field.
Yeah, it's good to see these guys all scrapping it out for the same piece of real estate, and you know, even though it might be a 15-minute race, oh no, as we've got Herod going for a bit of a spinala.
And is that Herod? I think was that? We've got a yellow flag here, going for a spin. He is around and back on to the circuit now. But wow, that is disastrous for his race. And with only 15 minutes. 3.5 minutes left in the race, 15 minutes in total, Cam. It's very difficult to come back, isn't it, in a shorter race?
Yeah, these shorter races and these kind of conditions are definitely tricky to come back from, but, you know, it's as long as you can try and make the most of the current situation.
As we see, we're riding on board with the man in P2 as we take a look at Bradley, who is running very wide, and that's another car off in the background. What on earth happened there, Cam?
I want to go back onto the replay for this one. Oh. Well done on Mike for sitting there, though.
It's not the greatest feeling in the world, is it, Cam? When you're sitting there and you're watching the rest of the cars stream by, and not only frustrating, but a little bit demeaning as well to be sitting there. But we've got to say that this race still up for grabs. The battles right the way down the field. Happy Easter down there for Michael Easter there in the 717 Porsche. Very nice livery. Do we have any information on these liveries, Cam, and who they're paying homage to? But either way, they're looking very nice indeed. Best of a 208.892. last time around, and that's in quite heavy traffic as they're almost having a moment. I don't know where to look, Cam. Oh, there's contact. Two Ferraris. What do you get if you cross two Ferraris into that corner? You don't get an awful lot. As you can see, the battle's continuing, and that, oh, there's some more action. Was that a bit of argy-bargy there, Cameron?
Yeah, it might have been a little bit of a barge there, but, you know, they were going 3 into 1, so that quite doesn't work.
As you can see, back onto the circuit. Not going to be a happy Easter for that man. Let's get back to this battle, because this is where it's at, as Michael Babb puts in the fastest lap in the Prince of Darkness 666 Ferrari GT3. And we've got to say now that this race is far from over. Lap 6 here, ladies and gentlemen. And what have we got here, Cam? We've got, not only have we got a race on our hands, but we're probably coming up potentially to the last lap of the race.
Yeah, we're not too far away from getting to the closing end of this race. And, you know, Matthew's been clawing away. I've been watching his last laps, and I feel like these conditions are slowly coming to him, but it's going to be close.
It's going to be close. Let us know in the comments who is going to win this race. My goodness, it's up for grabs. Just seconds remaining, 40 seconds to go here, race 1. And guess what, Cam? It's a 2-for-1 deal. If you don't like just one race, you can have 2 as well.
Yeah, the Super Sprint format's quite new to us. We've given it a trial run, and we'll see how it goes. So the Super Sprint consists of a 15-minute as well as a 30-minute race following up. So I'm looking forward to seeing how the drivers react to this, and whether they like the format, and, you know, whether we see more of it in the future.
Get your comments coming in, ladies and gentlemen. Please do not be shy, as the leader is on the final lap. As what is going on there? We've got Spinazzi in the pits. What has happened, Cam?
Yeah, I'm not...
What on earth is going on there?
I'm not too sure. We'll go back on a bit of a replay here.
And let's see what happened. Did he get damaged? Could he? I mean, there was a gap, wasn't there, down to back to Maddox there, who was in P3. That is very strange.
I'm wondering whether it was fuel.
Oh, could he not have made it to the end of the race potentially, Cam?
Yeah, I think he might have underfueled just a little bit because Maloney, I saw him just before he went over the start-finish line. He braked and slowed down a little bit, which, you know, gave him a final lap. So whether he tried to brake and slow down so he didn't have to go one more lap, I'm not too sure. But, you know, unfortunately, it's cost Matthew a bit of a result here.
And as you can see now, our race leader on his merry way. Controversy. There's something about this circuit, Cam, over the years that's caused so many dramas. Do you remember Schumacher in the wet serving his stop-go penalty on the final lap of the race? Do you remember Lewis Hamilton a couple of years ago? I think he did the whole final lap with a puncture to his left front tyre. But look at this battle right the way through the field. And if you weren't frightened and horny before, you should be now, because there are battles absolutely everywhere. Cameron Norris as Spinazzi, who's got a brand new set of, not a new set of tyres, he's got some fuel in that car, but down in P13, what can he do from here on in?
He's in the points, so that's probably the best that he can do, and you know, he'll be having to move on to the next race and make sure he puts enough fuel in next time, I think.
As Maloney, here he comes. Race 1, round 1 of this championship in the GamerGearDirect LifeLine Sprint Series for Shakedown. He comes across the line to take a victory and win this opening race after an unbelievable finish. Some controversy as well as Maddox takes P2. As we take a look at the rest of the field, so much action in such a short space of time. And Cameron, we're almost ready to do it all over again, as the Ferrari just has a little bit of a tap there, trying to get some air time. As we take a look at Lee Perkins. I think I've started something, Cam. I'm gonna it's a habit. I'm gonna have to break throughout the course of the year. But how good is this? Let us get your bloody comments in. What's wrong with them, Cam? Get them into the comment section. Let us know who your driver of the day. In fact, not your driver of the day, the driver for race 1, as we take a look at Emanuele Pirro. Not actually his name, but he's finished 16th. That's a driver from way back. As we take a look at the Bentley and the AlphaTauri black car. And then it's Harrods. It's a great clothing store in the UK. Scani across the line in 22nd. What a fantastic turnout. And Siciliano and in that car. And then it's Bradley and Crick in the Honda. The only Honda in the field, Cam? Or is there another one? There might be another one lurking around as well. Matthews with some damage to the front of that Ferrari coming across the line.
Yeah, must have unfortunately had a little bit of contact somewhere along the way over the last lap, I'd say. His last lap was a 2:20, so there might have been a little bit of a bingo with a couple of people, as I see some other drivers have got relatively slow laps as well.
As we've welcomed Rivaldo to the stream, and Rivaldo, he's the man that sort of jumped on board this channel, Cam, when I was racing some F1, I believe, many moons ago. But great to have you with us, Rivaldo, and stick around. We've got another qualifying session and another race coming up, as there we have it, the final results on your screen, ladies and gentlemen. And boy, what a race we've seen. It's Tom Maloney, the man that took pole position, and the race win as well. Not quite the Grand Slam, Cam, because I think it was Maddox there who got the fastest lap as well. As we are almost into it, we've got 5 minutes of free practice too. A chance for us, Cam, and the drivers to just take stock and get ready for the second qualifying session. You can see the results there on your screen. And, well, any surprises there for you, Cam, as Sel Ragus? How do we say that? He says the bent steering is not a great deal of fun.
Yeah, definitely not. You know, there was a little bit of mistakes throughout the grid, and you know those conditions were very tough. So, you know, everyone I think did the best that they could. And you know, we look forward to hopefully maybe having a bit of dry running in race 2.
Never! As we see this practice session ticking ever so slightly away. But great to have everybody watching here, ladies and gentlemen. And don't forget, if you're out there watching, consider following. It would help us out a lot. And we're catching ever so slightly the great man V for Voodoo Live. I know we shouldn't promote everything, but damn it, we're doing collabs cam now, aren't we? Here in this new season. But yeah, he says, yeah, right. You've rigged it, Cam. He says was having a good run until that happened. So that's a little bit cheeky there. But just a little bit cheeky, if you don't mind, as we are looking at the final results. If you're just joining us, it is Maloney winning the race, but not after a spicy little battle there at the end. As Spinazzi there, I think he ended up in, where did he end up? P11 at the end of that race. Not ideal. Not a bad effort though, Cam, after pitting almost on the last lap. And coming back out there in the Porsche. Maddox in second, Sanikas in third, Bub now in fourth. And then Bab and Seri, is that how you say that? Is that how you say that? Macbeth, Cooley, McDonald, Glow rounding out your top 10. Then it was the man who was almost on for the win. He certainly was in the mix in Spinazzi there. Larry, or Lee Perkins, as he's better known to his friends. Conboy, Boxall, Emmanuel in 15th, Pry, Adco, Azizi, Abdul there in 17th, and Aaron Muriel there. It's amazing how I'm remembering some of these first names already, Cam. And can you tell me who finished in P19?
Bazitsky. I'm just as bad with last names as what you are. It's okay.
Bazitsky, we'll just call him Richard, and Dickie Bazitsky in 19th, and then it's Herod's. Matthew Herod there in that car there, as I just look to refresh. Return to garage. Yep, we'll do that. Free practice there. As we look at the drivers there, I've got the first names on another program here. So Easter in 21st, Scani in 22nd, Siciliano. Boy, that's these boys aren't going to love me here. As he met the weather, he says on the chat. Great stuff as Bradley Crick, Matthews, Nobbs, Wilson, Leonard Scott. And yes, Leonard Scott, fantastic stuff. Probably having some cucumber and cheese sandwiches before a hit of polo after this race. And then Viney, my man Viney, 5 laps down at the back there in the Mercedes. And to be 5 laps down in a 15-minute race is not a bad effort, but I think we lost him, didn't we, Cam, a little bit into that race there?
Yeah, we had a little bit of a disconnect from Pete. You know, thankfully he's managed to get back in. So, you know, it might have been an internet drama. We're not too sure. So yeah, it's good to see him back in.
And you can see there. Where are you watching from, ladies and gentlemen? This is a brand new, Cameron, brand new, round 1, brand spanking new series here, round 1 of the GamerGearDirect LifeLine Sprint Series for Shakedown Sim Racing. And after race 1, Cam, I'm hoping that you'll decide to keep me around for the second race. And you can tell my voice is still a bit raspy after the 6 and a bit hours we did as somebody Scani around there. And you can see these conditions, I think they are changing once we flick over in to a qualifying 2, Cam. Also a 10-minute session, this time followed by a 30-minute race. So a bit of a chance for the drivers here to get some dry running, hopefully, in race 2.
Yeah, fingers crossed. You know, the rain increase is kind of a little bit worrying, but knowing it's going to dry off in that 30-minute predictor is a good indication. So we might still have wet running here for qualifying.
Let's have a look, ladies and gentlemen. There's a bit of a conspiracy theory going around, some sort of Bermuda Triangle, Twilight Zone, Area 51 conspiracy theory saying that Cam's doing this as part of some Illuminati sort of conspiracy there for the Prince of Darkness. as we see qualifying get underway. If anything, it looks heavier than what it did in the first qualifying session.
Yeah, it's definitely upped an ante here. So, you know, I think we've gone from about light rain to somewhere around medium rain. So it's going to be the same deal. Rain's going to decrease towards the end of qualifying here, but I'm looking forward to seeing what the race is going to predict, because, you know, we had it drying up towards that 15-minute mark. You know, there was a dry line formed, so it's going to be interesting. Even though there's no mandatory pit stop, are we going to be seeing drivers come in for a pit stop?
That is going to be the question as we are into qualifying too. Don't forget, a 30-minute race coming up here. Ladies and gentlemen, have we told the people out there about this circuit, home of British motorsport? Of course, and like most English circuits, it used to be a former World War II airfield, as Sel Ragus, you say it like that, he says, and some people suggesting, Cam, that you are working your voodoo powers again. Well, you know what voodoo black magic sounds like, Prince. Any truth to these rumours?
No comment.
As better to leave it at that, as Abscess is suffering from iRacing. My head won't let me get into the ABS. Is that my man Abdul, I think, down there, who's commented Aziz, as wow, it is hard to transition across, isn't it, Cam, from iRacing and GT7 iRacing, as somebody's off, and that is Tommy Emmanuel, I think, down there. Damien Emmanuel, I beg your pardon, and he's off the circuit, but he's managed to collect it all up and get back on and facing in the right direction there, Cam.
Yeah, I've got a couple of yellow flags popping up for some drivers, as I'll kind of try and flick through them, but no, it looks like I think a couple of people are struggling a little bit with the change of conditions and possibly, you know, the change of track as well. You know, there's a lot more water than what there was before.
And there we have it, as Abdul says, probably should set a lap. Have fun, boys. We certainly will. And we hope you're having fun at home, ladies and gentlemen. That is the worst part about racing on a World War II airfield. There's only one thing worse, is when it starts tumbling down, as we see now just 7 minutes remaining in this session, as we're going to see some of these times, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to just jump back in and check these times. I don't think we've got anybody well, they might be starting their first runs here in qualifying too, Cam, as what are we expecting to see? Similar lap times to the ones we saw in Q1, given the conditions?
I think these conditions would probably be looking at that 2:10 to 11 benchmark that I put up earlier, because these were about the conditions we had during the practice before I rebooted the server for tonight. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one to see whether these conditions let up and we get a dry race, or whether we might get a wet to dry. But yeah, it's going to be anyone's question and answer at this point.
As you can see, there's plenty happening. Matt Spinazzi saying he really thought one stop was the way to go. He was shocked not even to get into the top 10 as Tom McDonald. All he's saying is, Cam, this weather. As we take a look at Matthew Herod, the Disciples of Speed. How good is that name? As we take a look at Dan Siciliano, and we're going to have to run weekly classes for me to get that name correct before the end of the year, Cam.
Oh, look, even I still get it wrong. I'm pretty good friends with Dan, and even I butcher his last name, so don't panic too much.
There's a lot of I's and a lot of L's in there, but Dan the man for Triggered Racing in the 818 McLaren. How good is that McLaren? Absolutely beautiful looking car, as the AlphaTauri comes around then. Aaron is in P16 at the moment, but I still think we are waiting for these guys to begin setting their times. As we get the first one now at the top, it is the Ferrari with a 213.495, so that is a little bit further back than what we were expecting there, Cam. I know you were talking about 211s, as guess who has jumped to the top of the timing sheets? It is that man, Tom Maloney, with a 212.727. He's 7 tenths up on P2. That's going to be a hard time to beat halfway through qualifying.
Yeah, these times are starting to tumble in as Jeremy and Rob Maddox overtake Tom there. So yeah, it's going to be interesting, you know, whether the track's developing as the session's going on, or you know what's going on. But you know, 4 minutes 20 left, and these times, I'm sure they're going to shuffle quite a bit.
As the times start tumbling down in the... Here we go, as you can see on your screen, Tom Maloney has, he has been kicked off pole position with a 2:12.175 for Seri. Jay Seri there, and Maddox right up there again as usual, as that was a bit of a moment there for Maloney. But wow, I was saying that time is going to be hard to beat, and as soon as I said that, we get a 2-minute 12.175, Cam.
Yeah, it's these times I think are going to slowly start coming in, and if people get a little bit of tow around here, that can go a long way, especially in these conditions. So, you know, Jeremy's only got pole position provisionally by just over 2/10. So, you know, these guys I can see have got about a second or more on their deltas. Tom Maloney's got about 2 seconds. So I think we're going to be seeing a bit more of a shuffle in this order soon.
And Cam, it's question time. What's better than one race on a Tuesday night?
You can't get better than 2.
That's for sure, as we see Sean Bubnow for Torva Messer Racing, his best of a 2:13 so far, as Senekis in the Honda with a 2:10.807. Wow, in the NSX Honda, and wow, that is a brand very close to my heart, Cam, as we see that man now 1.3 seconds on pole position by 1.3 seconds. And I drive a Honda Jazz, and I've got to say that it's good to see the Hondas up there. That is a incredible lap, and it doesn't look like he's... what is going on there? I'm looking at the sector times there, Cam, and he doesn't have a quicker sector, does he? As Maddox now goes, so these track conditions improving quickly.
Yeah, they're drastically changing. So, yeah, you know, this order is going to keep on chopping and changing in this final 2 minutes. So... oh, look, I feel like it's, you know, I want to put a prediction on who's going to take pole here, but I just don't feel like I can put the money on it.
Do not put your money on anything else at the moment, because Maddox is at the top with a 2:10.777, and Senekis only 30 thousandths of a second. There is nothing in it at the moment, and only a tenth further down to Easter in P3. The track evolution is incredible here, with less than 2 minutes to go, so they'll be getting on their bike and trying to get out for a final run, but you want to leave it as late as possible, don't you, Cam?
Yeah, you want to leave it as late as possible, but, you know, at the same time, you're running the risk of some small mistakes, as we see Mike made a small mistake there as well. So, yeah, I mean, these conditions, I feel like it's letting up, but there's a part of me that it doesn't feel like it. But these times, though, they're quite close at the front.
Very close at the front. It's not over yet, ladies and gentlemen. Riding on board with this man in the 195 BMW, one of only 2, I believe, in the field tonight. And this gives you an idea, a driver's perspective on the conditions and how difficult it is, Cam. You're a man that's done plenty of hours of sim racing to get your braking point and to find the ideal line in these conditions. Less than a minute to go in qualifying. And it is Maddox now on provisional pole position. You can see Rob Maddox there, P1, as we take a look at the lineup on your screen there. And Maloney goes to the top with a 2:10.2, and now Easter. Happy Easter, 2:10.205. These times are tumbling, C. Norris.
Yeah, and then Matthew Spinazzi decides, no, pole position's mine.
And Spinazzi just comes in and says, guess what? I'm going to take pole position. We're into the 2:09.617s at the moment, and you want to leave this run as late as possible. It's going to be down to the final second, Cam, if who can cross that line at the last second.
Yeah, that's honestly what I feel like it's down to at the moment. It's whoever's got a flying lap and manages to snag it in, you know, might be our pole position.
There we have it. TH Racing, Michael Babb has run wide off the circuit. I think we're going to see these guys finishing their final runs. Haven't done any practice, says Sal Aragus with the Porker and ACC, but spent enough time on the weekend in iRacing. Very tricky to go from iRacing to ACC, and I'm not telling you anything, Cameron Norris, that's for sure. As we see the time ticking down here, can anyone beat a 2:09.617? That is going to be the question here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Just settling into this night and this new season very nicely indeed. I've got to say, Cam, very honoured to be a part of this Shakedown series. I know I flirted with making an appearance last season, but this time I've left it for a brand new season. We've got plenty of people on board too, which is always good.
Yeah, exactly. Plenty of sponsors and plenty of drivers on board this time, and it's always a pleasure. You've got a very busy schedule, and we're just proud to have you slot in.
Never too busy for the Nigerian Prince. And a big shout out as we count down to the end of qualifying. And Sinekis and Easter are now in the pit lane as well. So I don't think, Cam, that anybody's going to beat that time of a 2:09.617 unless Maloney can do anything about it. Tom Maloney, he's up to P6 there. And that is going to be all she wrote for qualifying. And I've got to say, anybody with the same times? No, it hasn't happened this time around. It's close, but not quite that close. As, wow, we are almost ready for a 30-minute race. And a big shout out to simrigs.com, Cataclysm Sim Racing Computers. Might just pass on my PO box. I need a new setup there. GGD, Simulation Superstore, and LifeLine, which do fantastic work, don't they, Cam, as we know, in supporting those that need it. But, well, there we have it. That is qualifying done. It is a Spinazzi and Sinekis front row. Then it's Maddox and Easter, Cooley and Zeri, Maloney and Adco in 8th. And then it's Conboy and Herod rounding out your top 10. Macbeth, I beg your pardon. It's spent too much time talking to you, Cam, that's for sure. But in 11th there, Bab in 12th, Bub now in 13th, Emmanuel in 14th, Glow, Muriel in the Lamborghini, McDonald, Lee Perkins, not Larry Perkins, Bazietsky in 19th, one of my favourites, Crick Scarney in 21st, Sissa Siciliano, Dan in 22nd, Boxall in 23rd. My goodness, the grid keeps going on, Cam, doesn't it? Matthews and Abdul Aziz there, who is jumping in the comment section, and he's struggling, Cam, going across from iRacing to ACC. Vnobs in 26th, Bradley in 27th, Wilson and Viney, and then Leonard Scott, the man who is I'm not going to say he's uncomfortable in these conditions, Cam, but Leonard Scott, of course, the gentleman driver with us tonight. It's not going to be all cucumber and cheese sandwiches for him starting in P30.
Nah, definitely not. It's going to be a tough road, I think. But, we've got these wet conditions again. So it's a 30-minute race, but we've got medium rain increasing, and then it's going to be dry apparently by the end. So, look, I think it's going to depend if people decide to come into pit lane, get a set of dries, or what they decide to do, or whether they wing it on the wets. It's going to be anyone's game, I think.
Let's wait and see, ladies and gentlemen. Do not be shy. What are you being all shy for in the comments? Let us know who you're tipping for race number 2. I think we're going to have a very nice battle between the Spinazzis and the Maddox. And don't forget about my man Tom Maloney there in 7th, who can come through the field. And you can see that weather forecast, Prince, 30 minutes. I think we've got heavy rain now, heavy rain in 10 minutes, and then it looks like it's clearing up at the 30-minute mark. So that is going to be the question mark to see whether these drivers are going to come in and potentially change those tyres. Because as we saw with the track evolution in qualifying, Prince, you only need one lap and you can make up plenty of time.
Yeah, exactly. One lap's all you need, and I'm just looking at the glassy look on the track, and you can just see the standing water, and hopefully the curbs aren't as treacherous.
We will wait and see. We have 30 drivers ready to go racing here, ladies and gentlemen. Assetto Corsa on the PC for me. It's brand new, and oh my goodness. And We haven't got those sound effects, Salragus, but my goodness! And that's about as close as we're going to get, I think, as we see the drivers pull away on the formation lap, and it is very, very treacherous here. Even on the formation lap, Cam, it's not uncommon to see some drivers make a mistake in tricky conditions.
Yeah, the conditions look absolutely horrifying. Like, you know, we'll go for a bit of a fly, and let's just quickly so we can fly.
And we are flying around Silverstone at the moment. You're going to have to show me how all of this works, because this is incredible. And we are watching Silverstone from above in the helicopter. And I've got to say, being an old World War II airfield, Cam, can we land somewhere? As somebody's off there on the formation lap, and Cam just working the controls beautifully. And I'm not sure who that was, but it shows you how tricky these conditions are. And if we can find are we just getting... Oh, and somebody else... not sure where they're going. In fact, they're gone. It's a ghost car as we see the drivers morphing. That's a Ferrari and another car there crossing into... I'm not sure what you get if you cross those two, Cam, but we might have to come in and get ready for landing, or are we just going to keep circling the airport, Cam, here in a holding pattern as there's more drivers... They're spending more time on the grass than Bob Marley here. What is happening on this formation lap?
Yeah, it looks very tricky. You know, I think the guys might be struggling with the grip on the track and trying to generate temperature. So hopefully it's a clean start.
Let's wait and see as we see Rob Maddox, that Lamborghini Hurricane Evo 2, a very nice car indeed. You can see the conditions here absolutely appalling. We've got roughly half the lap to go. Let's hope Matt has sorted out his fuel issues as well, Cam, because he doesn't want to make that mistake again.
Yeah, no, you definitely don't want to be doubling down on that mistake. So, you know, he starts off on the front row of the grid again this time. So hopefully he's prepped. Hopefully he's got enough fuel for the 30-minute race this time.
Let's wait and see. And look at these conditions as Maddox getting very close there. As we take a look at our pole position man, not quite sure what you would give the creativity of that livery out of 10, Cam, but it's a pretty ordinary looking livery. Oh, and somebody else. Is he there for the memes?
Yeah,
let's have a look at
Chris
that.
is here for the memes.
And spin, spin, spin. Well, he almost kept it together, and now he's trying to find his rightful place in the world on the formation lap. It's never easy sometimes, is it, Cam, as we come down to get underway, almost get underway. What is going on here?
What is Chris doing?
What is Chris Can we get that trending? He's here for the memes, but he's going to become a meme at this rate, Cam, if he keeps this sort of form up.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Chris is known for his good antics. You know, I've seen some where he's decided to start from pit lane for quote shits and giggles and comes back to almost win races. So, yeah, you know, I'm hoping he's setting himself up. If he's causing these kind of antics now, I've got a feeling he's going to be pedaling quick this race.
As we wait and see. We are almost ready to go for race number 2 here. It's round 1 of the GamerGearDirect LifeLine Sprint Series. It's a sprint round. We've got a 30-minute blast here in race 2 to see who can win here and take the points. It is go, go, go for race 2 of this opening round here at Silverstone, and a perfect start for our pole position man. And it's Matthew and Sinekis, Matthew Spinazzi and Sinekis, as Sinekis was their contact there going through the first corner. And Maddox as well, right amongst the action here on the opening lap through Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel. And that's our man. Spinazzi is spinning around, and there was contact there as well. What on earth happened there? Drama on the opening lap, and now he's trying to rejoin Cam, which is not always easy given this large field of drivers, but disaster for this man at the start of this race as we head down Hanger Straight for the first time. as the timing boards. We've got Tom McDonald with a drive-through penalty. I think we'll wait and see what that was for, but through Stowe corner they go. 3 wide here, Cam. Plenty of action on the opening lap.
Yeah, this is these guys are looking very busy. So one of our new drivers in amongst this battle, I'd probably butcher his name worse than you, but he's an international driver, so he's making his debut here with us, and hopefully the ping isn't playing funny buggers for him, but these guys are having a killer battle.
As we see our meme man, Chris Cooley, who's got into all sorts of mischief on the opening formation lap, but this is incredible action. Consider following if you haven't already, as that is very close there. And there's no smiley boys here tonight, Cam, that's for sure, as we see this car, and Maloney there as well. I think he may have dropped a position. He started 7th and now he's down in 8th here on the opening lap.
Yeah, he's dropped down a little bit. It could be the conditions, maybe tyres not being where they need to be, or, you know, a couple of other various factors. But he might have also had the contact with Matthew earlier on. So, yeah, these battles are just continuing on all the way through.
As we take a look here at the race, you can see the race is on here. Wow, they've got McDonald and Babb as McDonald sets the fastest lap. ACC Race Control is the tool I never had, but I needed, Cam, and now I've got it. It's absolutely fantastic. I've got that many toys here. I don't know what to do with them as we ride on board with Tom McDonald. Not sure what that drive-through penalty was for, Cam. Maybe a start line infringement of some sort.
Yeah, possibly infringed on the start, you know, maybe sped a little bit too much, because we do run the UI to hold people within a certain speed limit. So if you do go over that speed limit, unfortunately you do get penalised.
As we take a look now, McDonald, beautiful heli cam there, down Hanger straight. I was about to say Conrod straight, but we're not at Bathurst. That's weird. Having a moment there, 9:10 p.m. local time. Looks like the sun doesn't appear to want to set here at Silverstone. And less than 3 minutes gone in this one. And I've got to say that action aplenty as Dan, the man, down the inside. It's a bit of a habit with Dan's, isn't it? Signing, sealing it, and fully sending it, Cam. And on that occasion, he's got the job done. Up into P20 now.
Yeah, well done for Dan on getting a nice move done there. And Abdul, I believe, allowed that to happen without too much infraction there, because, you know, they're best mates, so, you know, a little bit of friendly banter goes a long way.
As I think we're seeing some of the drivers maybe coming into, I think it might have been McDonald, as there's a car facing the wrong way there. I think it might be Macbeth. And it certainly is. We'll wait and see what happened here. It looks like it's through Cops, I think. And you can see here, as he had a moment there down the inside, there's another Mercedes there, and slight contact. And contact again. 2 for the price of 1 there. And once you lose the front end, Cam, especially in these conditions, that inertia can just take you around, and next thing you see the back end of your car passing the front of you.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, these conditions, as we see a BMW get a little bit sideways coming off the curb there, you know, the curbs are very slippery. So, you know, let alone the incident that we watched, the track is very slippery too. So unfortunate for our driver to not hit the braking marker just on time, and sadly resulted in a little bit of contact. But, you know, they're still on their way.
That is what can happen as Victor Anobs in the Team Tassie entry, number 17 in the Ferrari. He's in a sandwich and a half at the moment. He's got Mercs to the left of him, Porsches to the right. Here he is, stuck in the middle of that battle, down in 23rd position. As we take a look at this battle, beautiful camera work here, Cam, as Sinekis, our race leader, is, I wouldn't say he's checking out at the front, but I'll tell you what we're checking out at the moment is a very sexy looking battle here between Maddox and Easter, and this is very, very tight indeed. Maddox has got P2 at the moment, but first, second and third covered by just over a second. Great racing all round.
Yeah, absolutely. Not much between them at all. And, you know, not far behind, we've got Chris Cooley. He's also on the money. The top four are pretty much doing exact same times. You know, their last lap, give or take, was about 1.5 tenths between them. But, you know, nonetheless, these guys are just right on the money.
Absolutely on the money here. As the number 27 car is there is Matthew Spinazzi. What is going through this man's mind? Almost had the race wrapped. I wouldn't say had it wrapped up, but he was certainly right up there in race one before running out of fuel. That is far too close for comfort there. And Abdul in the pink pussy wagon, the pink pussycat wagon, having a slight moment there with Macbeth. And I tell you what, Macbeth off of Abdul's Christmas card list there, but he's through nonetheless.
Yeah, those guys were having a good move. You know, on the UI that we've both got, thankfully we can see all the position changes all happening in live timing. So, you know, as we see yellow flags popping up sometimes for some people, we cut to a replay of that and there's more yellow flags happening. And likewise with these passing maneuvers, you know, we can't get everybody, but, you know, what we've been capturing, they've been great moves.
And we may have lost our man, our hyphenated man at the end there, because he's no longer with us, but we had 30 at the start. Now we've got 29, and the back end of that Porsche of Spinazzi looks like it's copped a bit of damage, as these conditions, Cam, do not look to be improving whatsoever, as we're almost 8 minutes into this race, and there's so much action. We can get all the camera angles in the world here on the PC, Cam, but there's so much action, more than you can poke a stick at here in round one of this championship.
I was literally just about to say that same phrase, poke a stick at, because honestly, there's so much going on that we can't capture it all, so we've got to try and pick the best of the outcomes. So these battles, though, the front battles are creeping in, you know, they're getting closer and closer, so the midfield as well, likewise, you know, the pace is just insane at the moment.
And last time around, those top five are setting impressive times, 2:07s in fact, our leaders last time around. But look at this midfield battle we've got on our hands here. This is like driving through the middle of Adelaide in peak hour traffic, is it, Prince? Because there are cars absolutely everywhere, and there's very little space here to get by.
Yeah, very little space to get by, but, you know, it's also tough because the wet conditions, you don't really want to be touching the curbs. Like, you know, we've seen a lot of drivers sadly, you know, end their race almost because of curbs. So, yeah, Silverstone's nice and wide in some spots, but there's not a lot of passing maneuvers.
As you can see, 21 minutes remaining in race number 2 here. And it is going to be an absolute cracking finish here, ladies and gentlemen. Nicholas Macbeth, here's a man who's not shy to put his nose into somebody else's business for Nipley Motorsports. Thank you, Nipley, our latest follower on the stream. And fantastic stuff here. 30 drivers with us here tonight. We've got 29 still running, all the way down to Wilson. There is Maloney down there in 28th, and that is very close. Macbeth through again. This is a man that he might not be too concerned about being on several Christmas card lists here, Cam, as we're taking a look at another move down. The man once again trying to hold off Macbeth in that so not Macbeth, Geo, or is it Glow? I'm shocking with my I's and my L's. But I've got to say, with 20 minutes to go, this action is showing no sign of letting up here. Yeah,
no, definitely not. And, you know, we're in the mid-pack at the moment, and there's a good scrap going on. So, you know, I'm struggling to pick who do we kind of cycle between, because, you know, you'd be able to see the same thing, Trev. There is battles galore right now.
Absolutely hectic, as Maloney has pitted, I believe he set a 2:08 last time around, 2:06, I beg your pardon, 0.712 his best time so far, as the Spinazzi, Matthew Spinazzi, representing Spinazzi Motorsport. And that livery, Cam, we're going to have to, can we spruce that up a little bit or do something with it, Cam, please? I shouldn't be saying it to you, I should be saying it to Matthew, because it's just a little bit dull compared to the rest of the pack.
Yeah, we'll have to get in contact with Beto and have a look. We'll cut back onto a replay here of what's happened.
And we've got some damage there as we take a look at the contact. Two of the Ferraris and bang, and there's no coming back from that. That is going to be major damage to the front of that 74 Ferrari, Cam. In fact, so much so he's back in the pits. And Emmanuel, is he out of the race or just, I think he might be out of this one at the moment.
Yeah, I hope he can continue on with the race, but yeah, we don't know what kind of damage he received. It did look like quite the hit to the wall, so hopefully it's not too much and hopefully he can still finish.
And the pace is heating up as the conditions slightly improving, of course. The rain easing up in the next 10 minutes or so. But here we are, the battle at the front. Rob Maddox there in P2. And you can see the gaps there. 1.2 seconds separating the top three, first, second and third, all together on your screen as Rob running a little bit wide there. I don't think it's going to affect him too much here as we come through I was about to say the first corner, but it's not the first corner here in this racing series, as we've got another move here coming up from Dan the man, have we? No, it was Bab, I think, who was looking to make a move on him. Two McLarens fighting each other there. Unfortunately, nothing coming about so far, but he's on the defensive here, Cam, by the looks of it, because he's lining him up for a move.
Yeah, Dan hasn't done racing in a very long time. I jumped into a stream, prior to us kicking off, and I heard him say that he was dusting the cobwebs and stuff like that off his rig. So it's good to see Dan back in the rig again, and he's trying out the new McLaren, which he hasn't obviously driven. So it's a whole new experience for him, but I think he's doing pretty good sitting in P16.
Whole new experience, not just for him, but for everybody watching as well. It's round one of the GamerGearDirect, a LifeLine sprint series for Shakedown Sim Racing. And where else would you want to be, Cam? The answer is nowhere else, because here at Silverstone, it is bucketing rain, the likes of which you've never seen before, but that's not too unusual in the UK. It's not quite as sunny as we would like, as Viney now under pressure from, he's under a lot of pressure there. He's almost lost that one. And you can see how tricky these conditions are, but they look to be improving slightly. 9:20 p.m. local time, so the visibility is going to get even worse as we see that sunset as well here, Cam. It's not going to be easy in the final 16 minutes.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit tough. The sun slowly going down, darkness enveloping, and I think these guys are going to have a little bit of fresh air. We do have dry conditions periodically for the 10-minute mark, but then rain again in 30. So I don't think the track's ever going to dry up during this race, but it's definitely going to shake things up towards the end, I think, with a bit of a dry line.
And it certainly does, and we may see a dry line starting to emerge in the second half of this race, as you can see how difficult those conditions are. And it's so often the case, Cam, that once the rain stops, the track begins to dry out, and then if it starts again, the track starts to get wet again. And not only is that rather an obvious statement to say, as we see some action here. Jeremy Zeri for Shakedown Racing Team. Is this the official Shakedown Racing Team as we take a look? And Viney with him all over the back of him. Look there, this is close, and that is too close, Cam.
Yeah, a little bit of contact there, so it's a little bit unfortunate. I think, both drivers trying to go into a corner that theoretically you're normally single file. So, yeah, hopefully some better moves may be coming up, as Jeremy looks like he's trying to set himself up.
So much wonderful information, and half the race gone, half still to go, as I was about to comment that I've got so much information at my fingertips. It's incredible as we take a look at McDonald pressuring this man, Viney, and they are very close indeed. Where are the best overtaking spots here, Cam? We know that it's a fast-flowing circuit as down the inside, and now that's going to leave him vulnerable for Maloney. And wow, I was expecting a little bit more from Maloney tonight. Is he going to be disappointed with his opening round of this season? Tom Maloney, he's down in 24th. We're expecting so much more from him.
Yeah, I think he'd be a little bit disappointed. He did manage to walk away with that win in race 1. Unfortunately, it's not the big haul of points. But, you know, it's still going to be a decent point margin for him. So I think he's doing quite well to hold on to where he is. You know, a couple of mistakes throughout the opening half of the race. And, you know, it's good to see a lot of these drivers still continuing.
As we see now, the gap's still very tight, but there's so much action, we don't know where to look. I'll tell you what, as have we got 3 wide down Hanger Straight? I think we do, and you can see the spray still enveloping those cars, and they almost boxed him out there. And you can see Viney there. He's come out of that pretty badly. I think he's lost a couple of spots there, Cam. But look at this. McDonald makes contact with, I think that's Maloney, spinning around like Kylie Minogue in those sparkly orange shorts all those years ago. Here we go again. Maloney is he might have. Oh, it's been a round of 2 halves for him, winning in race 1. And then now we take a look at Aaron in the AlphaTauri black there. Best lap of a 2:09.447, which is well and truly, I think we're seeing the leaders do 2:06s, aren't we, Cam, up the front? So he's a little bit off the pace from where he needs to be at the moment.
Yeah, definitely a little bit off pace at the moment. So John Sneakers at the moment, he's done a best lap last lap of a 2:06 flat. So these conditions are definitely coming to the drivers, but it's just a matter, I think, of whether they could extract the time out of it.
As let's have a look, 8 laps having been completed in this race. And it is Shakedown, of course, presenting the GamerGearDirect, a LifeLine Sprint Series. Fantastic to have everybody on board, the sponsors as well as. Here's another move from Matt Glow in the garage, a 59 entry. He's up in P14 and doing rather nicely here at the moment. As Cam, it's getting very dark and very murky out there here at Silverstone.
Yeah, the darkness, you know, mixed with the rain, it's kind of, I don't know, I like it, but as a driver, I don't know whether I'd be enjoying it as much.
As we see there, less than 12 minutes now to go in this race as we look at our man in P2. He's got pressure from behind there. Let's hope he's a happy Easter back there. We've got to say that the pressure, what is going through your mind, Cameron Norris, sim racing champion a couple of times over, because these conditions have got to be so treacherous. It's you got to be brave, but you can't be foolish enough to lose control either.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I'm a big fan of the rain in ACC. I thoroughly love it, but you know, you throw rain in with these kind of twilight, the mix between it being daylight and, you know, being total darkness. It's a sketchy time to kind of be driving around in these conditions. So, you know, I've got full props to all the drivers that have managed to end up where they're at, as we've got a drive-through for P8.
A P8 drive-through there for Pryadco in the 777 AMG. Not sure what that was for, but disappointing for him. He was inside that top 10, and given how close things are throughout the field, he might drop down. He's certainly going to drop down outside the top 10, as we see Crick here. Mike Crick for MRT TVK Motorsport, the 87 entry. And this is very close indeed. He's got a McLaren behind him there, losing control on that occasion. As the AlphaTauri of Aaron Muriel jumping on board with the helicopter. Not sure whether we should even be flying in these conditions, Cam, given how treacherous they are. Take a shot. New drinking game. Every time I say treacherous conditions, Cam, you can have a drink.
Yeah, look, that's a drinking game I think I'd jump on board with, to be honest. Sounds fun.
As Tom McDonald, this man has been in the war's worn tyre tribe. Well, hello, he's invented that move there through Maggots and Beckett's. Great stuff there. I love this guy's work, Tom McDonald. Inside that top 20 now. He is on the absolute limit as we come down Hanger Straight, and he's eyeing up. I think he wants a piece of Abdul as well down Hanger Straight as well, for good measure.
Yeah, Chris is powering on. He's doing really good in the Porsche. It's not the most welcome to the Porsche for him, being in the wet conditions, but oh, look, he's doing really well as he's got a move going on.
Let's have a look. Oh, that's close. You can see him in the rear view mirrors there. And you could see inside the cockpit just how difficult this visibility is getting here. 9 minutes remaining. Don't be shy, ladies and gentlemen. Get your comments coming in. Who will win this race? Because it's still very tight at the front. 1.4 out at the front as we take a look at... you had to do it to me, didn't you, Cam? As it's Dicky Benitsky, the Russian man, coming through to complete the lap. And somebody off there, Tom McDonald. He was off briefly there, but he's managed to gather it all together again, Cam, but just out braking himself, and he didn't want to take out the man in front.
Yeah, he definitely did the right thing, you know, deciding to delete himself instead of deleting somebody else. I think that was the right choice. Unfortunately, it just wasn't the outcome that I think he wanted, but I think he did well in terms of, you know, not making it worse than what it could have been.
Past the BRDC clubhouse as we approach the final corner on this track. Of course, the running the older style start-finish straight as we've got a move here for Michael Easter. And this is at the business end, Cam, at the pointy end of the field. Great move there on that occasion, and he's up into P2 now.
Yeah, these guys have been scrapping for, you know, ever since the start. So to know these guys are putting in pretty much exact same laps. John, a little bit quicker. He's in the 5s now. But these guys have been scrapping like no tomorrow. So, you know, our top 3 and not too far behind, you got Chris Cooley. You know, it might be like almost a who's going to take the podium out of P2, 3 and 4. 2, 3 and 4. Let us know in the comments who will take this podium. Who's going to take the win too? Johnny Senekis. As is it John Senekis? Yeah, it is. John Senekis. There we go. Geez, I'm learning these quickly, aren't I? 30 names to get my head around as Paul Boxall still part of these battles right throughout the field. I cannot believe how close it is in the middle, Cam, through this race. It is absolutely incredible how close things are. And you can see there these gaps right throughout the field. The battles continue. A little bit of contact.
Little bit of a nudge, and then an even bigger nudge, and now he is around. So disaster there as we see Boxall for Boxy Racing. Very consistent there, 2:08 last time around, but 6.5 minutes to go in this race. And Mike Crack, of course, is the team principal for the Aston Martin Formula One team. And you can see where the confusion come into play there, Cam. And these boys, my goodness, they're toey tonight.
Yeah,
incredible.
They're going at it, you know. It's round 1, and if this is what we've got in store round 1, I cannot wait to see how the remainder of this series is going to unfold. It is crazy at the moment. You just wait. Round 2, of course, endurance race, I believe, Cameron Norris at Imola. And I'm so used to these full names and initials that I've been calling you Cameron Norris pretty much right through the evening, rather than you're traditionally known as the Voodoo Nigerian Prince. Haven't even got a Nigerian Prince in there, Cam, because there's so much action here. Yeah, it's crazy, you know. These guys obviously mainly know me as Cameron, and you know, they'll go with it. But, you know, it might be new for them to know me as the Nigerian Prince. As we stand on the bridge of Hanger Straight through into Stowe, and these battles are still as spicy as ever. And look at this, here comes Mike in the Honda, the 87 Honda. They're doing very nicely indeed. And boy, we've got less than 5 minutes remaining in this one. Yellow flag out for somebody further down the field, but I think they've got going again now. There must have been an incident there at some stage. But let us know in the comments who is going to take out this race. Race 2 of round 1
of the GamerGearDirect LifeLine Sprint Series. This is fantastic. Is that who I think it is? Trying to go around the outside? I think it might be, Cam.
Yeah, it definitely is. We've got Tom Maloney coming back through the woodwork, and he's had an unfortunate run in race 2 here, but, you know, I think I'd walk away with the battles that I've had during this race. These guys, you know, this mid-pack have all been glued together, just like the front pack, so it's definitely a good one, and, you know, it's something to take out of it despite a disappointing result.
Do not go anywhere, Cameron Norris. You can't go anywhere, in fact. Why am I saying that to you? Do not go anywhere if you're out there watching, because with less than 4 minutes to go and a murky, slowly drying out slightly, ever so slightly, Silverstone. Geez, if you can follow what I'm going on with, you're a better man than me, as Boxall has a penalty for a drive through there, Macbeth. And also down the field there in the 555 Mercedes has a stop and go, a drive-through penalty, I beg your pardon. But Cooley has the quickest lap of the race, which is very interesting. But I think that yellow flag may have been the 777 at Mercedes. But wow, this is getting tight and tense at the moment. And you can see on the track map here, Cam, that there's so many, there's almost clusters of cars in three separate spots around the circuit.
Yeah, it's one of those, you know, here in Shakedown we cater for a wide variety of skill levels, and, you know, one thing we always pride ourselves on is, you know, it doesn't matter how quick you are, it doesn't matter how slow you are, you're always going to have a killer battle at some point, and, you know, these guys have proven it.
And it certainly is great to see. You can see there how close it is. Half a dozen more cars in the one shot, and 2.5 minutes remaining here. But this battle for P15, and they're having fun, aren't they, Cam? We've got to say they're fully sending it, but they're having a good time as well, which is great to see. Oh, and that is that a disappearing wedge? I think he might have snuck through there, and this is incredible. What a performance we're seeing here. And geez, Maloney's like a little terrier, isn't he, with a bone, a little dog with a bone. And he's just not giving up, is he, Cam, here with only minutes to go in this one?
Yeah, not long to go at all, and he's definitely wanting to take out as many points as he can. So he's up to P14, he's made his way back up, so, you know, he can only wish that there was a little bit more time on the clock, as we're on board here with Michael and Rob. These guys are still going at it, and John hasn't managed to run away. So, yeah, it's an interesting one here as we're coming into the closing minute.
Oh, very close indeed. Second and third side by side here. This is going to be interesting through Cops or Club or Bridge or whatever it's called. But I've got to say that this is absolutely intense here. And you can't just stay on one battle, can you, Cam? There's so much to look at. As you can see, a dry line emerging, but we're into the last minute of this race, race number 2 of round 1 of this brand new championship for Shakedown. And absolute pleasure to be bringing this to you, along with my man Cameron Norris in the commentary box and the producer's chair. Where's this man, Lee Perkins? In that Ferrari. We saw him have a bit of a moment before, so now he's on the recovery here, and in the number 33 Ferrari there, outside of that top 10. Can he get back inside the top 10? And the leader, Cameron Norris, as you can see the lights off to the side of the track now, starting to take real effect here. It is getting dark here, 9:37 local time, and we've got seconds to go, as we see Johnny Sinekis in the 55 Honda, and being a proud and loud owner of a Honda Jazz Cam. I cannot wait to see this man cross the line here for race 2. Through Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel for the final time, down the hanger straight, heading towards Stowe Corner at this famous circuit. This man is on for victory here, Cam.
Oh, he's on the money, as I'm trying to find a camera angle that I want. Or he's made a slight mistake, so this might open things up.
It's less than a second, that gap. No DRS here, of course, in the GT3 series, but here he comes, Johnny Sinekis, being hunted down by Robbie Maddox, but I don't think he's going to have enough time here As we come through the final couple of corners, it's going to be Johnny Sinekis in the Honda winning this race. The number 55 is about to come across the line to win race 2. And no, he's not. In fact, I've won the race. I've gone early, Cam. Not the first time that's happened. We're not quite there yet. My goodness me. Keeping me on my toes here. That is not the finish line, ladies and gentlemen. Help me out here, Cam. I take it all back because we've still got a couple of corners here through this one as we see Jeremy making some moves there for the Shakedown Racing team. Funny how we jump on the Shakedown Racing team, Cam. Yes, we get plenty of airtime in for these boys. There's the Crick there in the number 87 Honda as well. One of 2 Hondas, the other one's up the front and about to win this race. Down hanger straight through Stowe there, but this is what it's all about. The battle has been intense, but at the end of the day, it's going to be Johnny Sinekis winning this race. No commentator's curse here, Cameron Norris, as he comes across the line to win. And the leader certainly has finished the race. Johnny Sinekis wins from Robbie Maddox, and that shows you how much he was pushing in that last lap there. He's taken the fastest lap. Has Happy Easter in 3rd place. As we take a look at this man in the Ferrari, 4th place for him. One of the very few drivers all out on his own in this race, Cameron. It's been absolute chaos, but we've enjoyed every second of it. Herod in 5th. Spinazzi with a drive-through penalty, which he might get added on to the end of his race there, I think, Cam, given he couldn't get time to serve that one. As we see Matt Glow here through the final corner. What a hectic race it's been, Cameron Norris.
Oh, it's been thrilling, and you know, we've still got this battle here going on as we come over the line. We've got 4 drivers fighting it out for P12 to P14.
Oh, sorry, look P11. At this battle. P11, 12, 13. And they're going to need to work out some of those dents in the garage long into the night as these two come across the line. I think he's got him. The Porsche beats the Honda, beating Dickie Bizneski there in 13th. I hope he's okay with me calling him Dickie Bizneski. Seems to roll off the tongue a little bit easier for me. But Bradley there, P18, P19 for Boxall, 20 for Matthews. And I think these boys at the back are just having a little bit of fun here, Cam, as that is all she wrote here for race 2 of this opening round of the sprint series. It is a sprint round to get things underway, but what a result we have seen here tonight, because the timing sheets are just a little bit up the shizer on this screen, Cam, but wow, where do we begin to unpack all of that?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. It's an interesting one to go through and dissect, and you know, oh my God, like the battles, they were wild. So we've just got our final drivers coming across the line now, and the timing boards should fix themselves up. But oh my God, where do you start with this one, Trev?
I don't know whether we're going to be able to unpack it all before we finish up tonight, Cam, and pack our microphones up and put them back into a box and take our commentating jackets and put them back on and head out into the Silverstone night. Because there we have it on your screen, ladies and gentlemen. There are your final results. The session has ended. It sure has. It is that man, Johnny Sinekis. Just loving these names. You know what I'm like with names, Cam, and that one rolls off the tongue very nicely. And if I didn't like him before, the fact that he drives a Honda, I love him even more. But Robbie Maddox in 2nd, also setting the fastest lap on that last time around. And then it's Easter in 3rd there, and Bub now in 4th. Herod in 5th, Glow and Muriel 6th and 7th, Maloney and Spinazzi 8th and 9th. Disappointing from them in race 2. I was expecting more, Voodoo.
Yeah, a little bit disappointing by Matthew, especially starting off on the front row of the grid this time around. And, you know, unfortunately, he just had a couple of mistakes on the curbs. So, yeah, he'd be hoping to have a bit of a better run next week.
As we wait for our drivers to enter the post-race driver press conference, as Sel Ragus says, better race this time. And Cowhide, yeah, giddy up. as LMFAO. Give the man's name some respect. It's Bushensky. That's Dicky Bushensky. Please, I've written that down in my notes, and I'm not going to forget that for round 2 at Imola Voodoo.
Yeah, no, definitely not. Look, these names, even I'm still learning a lot of them, and sometimes I get them wrong too. So, you know, these boys having a bit of fun after the wet weather here, and you know, I'm looking forward to seeing what we've got in store next week. You know, it's going to be an interesting race at Imola, and you know, is the rain going to show up?
Let's wait and see. So many questions and so little time before they get answered again next week. And round 2, endurance round, Prince, as well, of course. So set your clocks to, this is amazing. How good is this? Round 2 from Imola, the Circuit Edino, Enzo Edino Ferrario, and that is probably not the name of the circuit, Cam, but it is a famous circuit in the world of motorsport, and it's endurance round, August the 1st. Pinch and a punch, Nigerian Prince, for the first day of the month, and the second round of this championship coming up next week.
Yeah, it's not too far away, and talking about August 1st, that's day 1 of the charity month. So this is obviously a part of the charity month we've got in store, and let me tell you, there is a lot more planned. So Trev, do you want to give us a little bit of information about what we've got in store for the console guys?
Did you say charity month, Cam? Yes, you did. And that is our buzzword of the day, because all throughout August, with thanks to LifeLine and all of our great sponsors, we are going to be having, and how much money did we raise last time, Cam? North of $5,000 for charity, and this is going to be absolutely epic. I think I'm going to let you explain the rest of it, Cam, but what a big month we've got in August.
Yeah, we've got an absolutely stacked month. You know, not only do we have Shakedown headlining a sprint series, but for the Australian-New Zealand PS5 Endurance Series, we're also going to be running a 4 hours of Kailami. We won't reveal the dates just yet. We'll wait for Mr. Wilco's son to do that one. But yeah, charity month coming up. A lot of big things happening. So, you know, definitely don't want to be missing out on that one.
Stay tuned. Mark it down in your calendar. Get a calendar right now. And if people still use actual calendars, mark it down in your calendar, because as we take a look here, my man Abdul, the Bentley is a little wild, and yeah, catching it in certain parts. Not easy in those conditions either, Abdul, as Selragger saying, shame I missed my braking marker, or would have stayed with you for a nice little battle. That's right throughout the field. We saw some fantastic battles there, as Wilco-san will let us know what's happening on the console. But I might not want to go back to the console now, Cam, after all that action. But I think we might be waiting for some drivers to join us in the commentary booth. But whilst we are waiting for them, I think we're starting to get them in now, I believe, Cameron, or very shortly.
I forgot to put the memo out to ask drivers if they'd like to come in for an interview. But if you'd like to wait 2 seconds, Trev, I can jump down and ask any of the lads remaining if they would like to come in for a bit of an interview.
Let's do it. And we're going to wait and see as we wait for the drivers to jump in for a chat. This might be a good chance to confirm or deny some of the pronunciations we've got as well. Yep, go ahead.
You're just going to have to bear with me, Trev. I'm going to have to leave you and join into them. So give me 2 seconds. I will be back, all right?
As you can hear that. There, he's just shut the...
I'm shutting the door on Trev, everybody. Won't be long, won't be long.
Door. He's heading down into the pit lane. Like...
All right, quickly, does anybody want to come up for a little bit of an interview?
Like, I've said yeah, but he's left. I'll come in.
Yeah, okay, I'll drag you up. Does anybody else want to come up?
I can do it if you need to.
Yep. Abdul, you wanted to come up?
Di Ferrari, and then round 3 is another sprint round at Spa-Francorchamps on August 8th, and then it's the super sprint at Laguna Seca August 15th for round 4, another sprint at Watkins Glen on August the 22nd, before the big one, the endurance race to finish the season at Kyalami on August the 29th. And Cam, I think we've got you back, and I think we've got some drivers to talk to as well.
Yeah, I'm back, and I bring myself some drivers. So, would you like to take away the commentary interviews, Trev?
Absolutely, and fantastic. We might just roll them off in no particular order. Abdul, have you got us there? And we are going to wait to see whether Abdul can hear us. But Chris Bradley, have we got you on the line?
I am on the line, buddy.
Loud and clear, my friend. Talk us through the race or races tonight, mate. Those conditions, they started off tricky and they didn't get much easier as the second race commenced as well.
No, the conditions were definitely terrible. I blame Voodoo and his rain dancing skills. Doing a bit of voodoo dancing in his backyard, I think, for the rain to show up.
Yeah. Well, you know how it goes. But no, Chris, but seriously, talk us through the race, mate. Was it, did you get into a rhythm with those conditions or was it quite difficult to find that ideal line?
After a couple of laps, I actually started to find the rhythm really well. It's definitely a lot different to what I drove on the weekend because I drove pretty much the same car on the weekend. But yeah, it was just finding that rhythm, finding the break points, especially in the wet, because the wet's you got to look at it a whole different perspective than a dry line to a wet line. So yeah, it took a little while to get the line, but once I started to get that, I had a good rhythm and it seemed to hold off a little bit.
And fantastic stuff, mate. I've got to say, what an eventful opening round we've had. But thank you for taking the time. I know things were pretty hectic there, mate, over the course of the first two races. But thanks for taking the time out to have a chat with us here in the commentary box, mate. And we'll catch you next week for Imola.
Anytime, mate. Anytime.
Awesome. Thank you, Chris Bradley there, the man. We might jump across to Shawnee Bub now. Have you got us, Sean?
Yeah, mate, loud and clear.
Loud and clear. Good stuff, mate. Tell us a bit about what you experienced out there tonight, mate, because we didn't know where to look in the commentary box. There was so much happening. Was it just as hectic down there at ground level?
Yeah, look, it was pretty hands-on and pretty chaotic on the old steering wheel from time to time with opposite locks happening left and right. But we got the job done at the end of the day, kept it on the black stuff.
And all pointing in the right direction, mates. Looking ahead we've got the endurance race for round 2 at Imola. Is that a format that you quite like? But what do you prefer between the sprints and the endurance rounds?
I'm always a fan of longer races, just purely based. If you have a bit of an oops, gives you time to recover and actually, I guess, do those recovery drives that lately seems all I tend to do in other leagues. So I'm not looking too forward to. Oh, sorry, I am looking forward to that kind of scenario. So the longer races is more my style.
Great stuff. And Shorty, I know it's been hectic, mate, but thank you for taking the time to have a chat with us. You are an absolute legend. And yeah, we will catch you next week for the endurance round at Imola.
You will. Thanks for having me.
Great stuff. Shawnee Bub now there. And wow, where do we begin to unpack all of that, Prince? I'm not sure how much time we've got left. But wow, I think that's been, not only has it been hectic, Prince, but I think it managed to work quite well. And it's a new season, and you can just, there's a buzz, isn't there? There's an energy around this Shakedown Sim Racing series, and we are well and truly amongst it. It's a shame there's only 5 rounds to go, Prince.
Yeah, it's a short season, but you know it's going to be a good season. So lots of jam-packed races, and you know, like we were talking about earlier, if tonight was anything to go by, this next few weeks is going to be crazy. So I'm looking forward to it. But just before we go, do we have Abdul?
We certainly do. My bad, lads. I had my wheel off, so push to talk wasn't working. I was talking to myself for a second.
Not a problem. As Abdul, mate, you're up and about in the chat as well as on the track, mate. Talk us through your evening tonight.
Well, not a great start. Something happened when I first joined the server, and it seemed like my VR wasn't synced between left and right eye, so I almost had a bit of a vom, and I had to exit out and come back in.
I'm trying to visualize that. It was hectic enough just watching that cam, but I couldn't imagine it in VR for a more immersive experience. But mate, are you happy with your performance tonight for the opening round of the season? Obviously, like I said, things were pretty hectic over the course of the 2 races for you.
But not overly happy. I qualified quite poorly in both, but then came through in both races. It was a bit tricky in the second one in particular. I think there must have been a pretty big off at some point, and some of the faster guys were coming through. Just trying to, it was hard to get my rhythm as they were coming through the field, but once I did, it was cool, and then it dried, and the Bentley, as we learnt, likes to eat its tyres once it starts to dry on track. So it's not a car you're going to carry wet tyres on for a long time.
Yeah, I think you may have mentioned as well in the chat, mate, that the Bentley is a little bit wild, especially in those conditions. But looking ahead to a round 2, round 1 done and dusted, Abdul, what can we expect from you and your team in round 2?
Maybe actually practicing and getting good again. Imola's always been a favourite of mine, so I probably should get my eye back in there and go for it. Cutting back from too much iRacing, where the ABS hurts your performance. I need to get back into using it here in ACC.
Great stuff. Great advice there, Abdul. We appreciate your time, mate, joining us. Thanks for getting amongst it in the chat as well, mate. We'll catch you next week at Imola.
Cheers, guys. Have a good one.
Great stuff. Abdul, you absolute a legend there. I think he might be off to start practicing for Imola. And that is round 2, of course, August the 1st. You can see it there on your screen at the Circuit di Enzo Dino Ferrari. And hopefully by next week, I might even get it right, Cam.
Yeah, look, I mean, your take on it is way better than what mine would be. I'd probably butcher it more.
The great Enzo Ferrari, of course. What a legend, and a lot to thank him for. But we are almost out of time. And as I look across the commentary box to the man sitting in the director's chair or the producer's chair, I think that might be our lot for tonight, Cam.
Yeah, look, honestly, great running tonight. And, you know, it was a bit of a trial here with you, Trev, just to kind of get you in tuned with the way that we operate and how things change quite quickly on the PC, you know, in terms of all the buttons and all that kind of good stuff that you have to remember. So, no, honestly, I think it went really well. And, you know, jam-packed tonight, absolutely crazy performances by a lot of the drivers tonight. So, yeah, a week off and we come back and we do it all over again, but at Imola.
Cannot wait. I might have started off a little bit slowly, but nice and steady with the build-up. And I think we absolutely killed it for race 2. But that is round 1 of the GamerGearDirect LifeLine Sprint Series here for Shakedown Sim Racing. A final shout-out. Simrigs.com, Cataclysm Sim Racing Computers, GGD, Simulation Superstore, and a LifeLine as well. Great to have our sponsors and partners on board for the new season. That is a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. It's been an absolute pleasure to bring this stream to you. Don't forget, round 2 will be an endurance round at Imola on August the 1st, 2023, and it's going to be an absolute pleasure to bring you round 2 of this Shakedown Sim Racing season. That's a wrap of round 1, ladies and gentlemen. Be kind to one another, be nice, and we'll see you next time around. It's bye for now.